Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings on all of you. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla, outstandingpersonalship.com.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Coach Fatimah.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum, Coach Nazir here. So we're pretty excited. First, we'll give you a moment to join. Feel free to make sure, if you already joined us after notification, then I do have a phone, so we're going to be answering different questions today. Make sure you subscribe if you are on our YouTube channel, or if you're not on our YouTube channel and brand new, subscribe, like, share the information. We like to empower as many people as possible because it's important to really get the message out, if you will, about how to really develop outstanding and more fulfilling relationships.
Yes.
So with that being said, a few different things. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the business of polygyny, but also assumptions. So those are kind of the two topics. Both of them are pretty broad. So we're going to tackle some of those. So give me a second, because I also want to mention what we have going on. Now, we received a lot of inboxes. Some people that knows personally texting, and other people emailing as well, really asking about what's going on with your Cyber Week stuff and Black Friday and all of that, right? Which is cool. That's actually a good problem to have. So we decided to be different. So we started ours after all of the noise, if you will. So last Thursday through tomorrow night, we have a number of different cyber specials going on. And just to let you know, if you want to know the best deal, the best bang for the buck, where that term came from, maybe, I don't know, shotgun in the ear.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Wait a minute now.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's a decent saying. Nevertheless, we'll be joining our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. Yes. All right. That's where we go live. We live broadcast, and we actually delve deeper than we do in our videos here with actual strategy. You get worksheets and downloads. And matter of fact, just some of the bonuses you get if you actually register before tomorrow would be, you get 2 of our other courses also as additional bonuses. So you get the Going from Monogamy to Polygyny course for those of you who are either interested or practicing polygyny. You also get the Co-Wise Conflict to Cooperation course. And, yeah, right. And that's not all. It's also a bonus coaching session with either all of us or however you would like to mix it and match that, as well as our book. So by spring, you should at least have that in your hand. So those are the bonuses you get just for joining the RMIC members. So in our community. And also there's also a private community that we have there as well. So it's not a special Facebook group. It's our own special group where we communicate with each other. And all of that is part of the Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. So if you want to see that, which you should, check it out. You can just go to our store at outstandingpersonalship.com/store. You can go there, check it out, use the code that's OPR50, and you're good to go. So anyway, and that ends tomorrow night. So just letting you know, time is of the essence, if you will, with that. Now, last week we talked about having some giveaways for people who asked questions and participated with what we were doing last week. And last week we did how to have a dope, fulfilling marriage. We recorded that and everything and broadcast it. So we do have 2 people that have already won a couple of different courses. So Sister Shakira was asking a lot of questions, or Brianna was her name on YouTube, as well as our brother Ajamu Butler as well. So congrats to you guys. All right, so check your email, inshallah, God willing, today to go ahead and redeem that. So that's the intro. Again, the bonuses in tomorrow night with our cyber deals. Regardless, bonuses or not, it's still beneficial regardless. And I know sometimes people have a question like, why does it cost? And listen, and I know that because I used to think that too when I was young and stuff like that, and rather immature. But at the same time, I would be asking questions like, it makes sense to just pay to go to college and get this tuition and pay for what you don't know to kind of get this shortcut. So once I began to understand the significance that people put into their education and change, the question really comes to value versus price. That's really what it comes to. So we know that we bring value absolutely, to the table for our students and our clients. And we're privileged and grateful So we haven't done that because we really open up our lives, and all of us are private.
Oh, yeah.
So really opening up and educating the masses. I mean, it just makes sense. But only a few people ask it anyway, because most of you, again, you're not tuning into outstanding personal relationships because you're abusive or somebody that's shiesty and stuff like that. And if you are, you're not going to last long here anyway. Just the information is going to turn you off. It's not that time on your journey, I guess. But for those who understand the significance of investing in yourself in order to get a return, all right, that changes the game. I mean, how much would you spend to make change happen in a much shorter time? For example, many of us always talk about, well, if I knew then what I know now. What if you actually could know then, but you might have had to pay $1,000, right, to go 10 years into the past? All right, to get that information 10 years ago. How much would that 1,000 be worth? I know some of you are like, oh, Bitcoin and everything else, right? Financially. But again, sometimes it's really about that shortcut in learning, because you will not have to go ahead and spend the amount of time and the amount of money and different things that we've done. Some of it by trial and error, but most of it being very, very strategic. So with that being said, and having enough, I don't want to get caught in my face. So we want to jump in really to the topic. You want to start? What's our assumptions? You're going to pull your part up? Or... Now, if you have any questions, again, make sure if you're on, if you're watching it from YouTube, that'd be you guys. If you're watching it, feel free to ask questions in the chat roll. I could kind of see it, so I'll go and check those if need be. And then if you're on Facebook, do the same. We'll be going back and forth on this device to pull questions out of it, but we've already got a number of them emailed as well. And if you prefer anonymity and want to go about that route, support@outstandingpersonalrelationship.com. Can't guarantee getting to all of it that fast when it comes to email, but if you do put them on the screen early, especially, we'll see those and likely be able to address them. So,
all right. These are some assumptions that we either got DM'd, asked directly, or, some of them are very, very recent, and some of them we will be repeating from maybe last week or week before. But let's just hop right into these. We have several.
Oh, yeah, by the way, usually during the introductions, you say, I'm his wife.
Oh, yeah.
So they might not know who you are. If y'all brand new, it's your first time saying stuff.
We're co-wives.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We're not married to each other. We're married to our husband. Okay, so that's one of the assumptions. In a three-way marriage here. We are not. Okay. The first one, do we all live together to save money? I think this question came into play when we traveled to Atlanta, and some people assumed that we were in our house because they weren't really listening to.
That we don't live together.
We don't live together. We have traveled together. We have our own homes, which we both feel is very important. I mean, and that's not for everybody, but living together is not for everyone either. So for us, it's just not practical. Right?
Yeah, we have a big family. It's not just the three of us.
That's the three of us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about, how many kids stay with us? Like a
Dozen.
dozen. Right, or 10.
Oh, yeah,
10.
10.
About 10, yeah.
10 now, because the other two aren't on. So out of our children of a dozen kids, then we have 10. All right, so out of these 10 children scattered between these two homes, we're good to go. It's a little thick. All right, it's a little busy, a little noisy. So yeah, it's not practical for us.
It was just busy this morning, so.
Yeah, and we want our own space too. I mean, we do have a lot of children, but we want our own spaces as wives. But that, again, that's, some people do live together and that's fine, but for us, we want our own, staying at home. So.
Yeah, and I think that's, that's important too, because it's different. You have different personalities. You have different, and not that it's a negative thing. It's just that it's like sleep schedules and different things. There's a lot of different things that is just more practical for us.
It works for
there are
us.
people who actually have done it and do it. And they do it well, and they're successful with it. So it just pretty much depends. But with us, no, we don't actually live. So it's not even living together to save money. We actually just don't. We don't live in the same house at all.
No, and we never had. Now,
the next one.
Except by traveling.
Yes. Are you all participating in the same marriage? We already answered that. We have our own individual marriages. We're not married to each other as co-wives, because some people think co-wives means we're married, and we are indeed not. We're married to our husband, Coach Nazir. The next one is, You all stay with your husband because he is rich. So you stay for the money.
Sugar daddy.
Honey child.
This is not a. I'm dating myself, but this is not a Daddy Warbucks thing where we stay with him. It's not Annie, and we don't stay with our husband for money.
No, I mean the thing is we're financially capable of making our own, and we actually,
and we
do,
and
and we actually teach our children those things. Actually, we had a question on that about financial wealth building and
responsibilities. Yes.
So we'll talk about that more. But so it's not about a sugar daddy thing or hey, take care of us financially, man. And we
somebody says
sit
that
back and eat our bonbons
and have children and stay barefoot pregnant. That's another assumption.
That part.
He makes you all work. Like you make us create this content, you make us appear on YouTube, or pretty much just the slaves to the husband, and he calls the shots, and he makes us create OPR.
And this is not something that's common either. These are just
like
little dumb assumptions.
And they are
trolls might say something.
Sometimes we just want, I guess, it's just to seek clarity, but it's not.
And we've gently had people ask these questions. Yeah, we do, and we feel like this is something that we need to help people with, and we've all had our own struggles individually. So because we have our husband in the middle, and then Coach Nyla has her take on polygyny and her experience of it as a subsequent wife. I have mine as an initial wife, and all three of those are very valuable stories to hear. So this is.
And I'm not in the business of making women do anything. You can't make another.
You can't make us do anything.
Do anything.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So if you have to feel that you need to be controlling to make something and cracking the whip, then what is that? What type of relationship is that? That's not something.
Ego is that?
It's hard. It's very difficult to make your children do something.
Hello?
You may put leverage on them and let them know there's some consequences one way or the other. But making somebody that's not what we into. But we do want to empower people. We do want to get the message out there. We do want to help as much as we can. I mean, just minimally for the invisible benefits that come along with that we don't even know, for the many different prayers we get on different continents from people we have not met and may never ever meet. It really means a lot. I mean, just this past Friday at Jumar, a brother had came up to me after the salat, after prayer, and he was like, "Oh man, real big guy, like 6'3", 6'4", big dude." And he was like, "Man, you really trying to save my marriage, man. I was ready to walk away from it." I'm like, okay, that's, it's different. It's weird because now people start recognizing you in public. It's kind of funny. But he was like, "Yeah, man, I got married and had a baby and everything, this and that." And she just wasn't, he was complaining. He had some issues with stuff, but he said he came across our information and he started to, just go into it and study. Then he said he would say things, say my words or different stuff that I was saying like they were his. And he would just see this kind of change. So it helped him with the patience part, because she was relatively new to Islam, and he's been Muslim for a long time. So he was like, his measuring stick wasn't the same on her journey. So he didn't know how to deal with that. So he got that advice from the imam, like, you have to be patient. Okay. It's one thing to say, be patient. It's another to show me some practical steps on how to be. So that's where he found the value in us, and like, listen, y'all showed me how to be patient with certain things. And again, we grateful for those type of things. We want our scales to weigh heavy with good deeds when that time comes.
Yeah, and like we said before, we are very private, so this wasn't something that was just saying, us going out to say, let's go jump into this thing. So but
it took years, you guys.
Yeah, but constantly seeing the love and support and the questions and the stuff, it's like it makes the labor of love what it is, a labor of love, and it makes it worthwhile.
That's encouraging. It encourages. It inspires us so much. Let's see.
Your co-wife, there's an assumption. Your co-wife is just trying to break your family up. That's all they do. Jump break family.
We've addressed this
Jump break
before.
family up.
We've addressed this before, and Coach Nyla really did a great job at addressing this specifically. So I'm gonna let her speak. She's the expert on herself.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting too, because that's kind of like a thing, and I've seen that a lot. I've seen it in groups. I've seen it in a lot of that. It's actually disheartening to see, though, that that's what people think, that's what it's about, because I haven't really seen it. Not speaking of the co-wives that I know, say, yeah, you know what, we're in this thing, we're gonna go in and break up the family. That's just what we want to do, guys. That's
your superpower.
That's a superpower. So it's just a gang of us.
Break families.
So we're just we're not out here trying to break
like
families up. And here's the thing: can't nobody break your family up but you. Period. Can't nobody break your family up but you. When it comes to a person, and polygyny, we know what polygyny is. We know, polygyny is, the husband having multiple wives. So it's not anything wrong with a woman wanting to marry into polygyny. Right. So, whether she's a second wife, third wife, or she's a first wife, that say, you know what, hey, why don't you get somebody else? Because I might need a break from you. Whatever the case may be.
And women do that. They say that to their husbands. Get another wife.
Can't nobody, and sometimes they'll do that, and then the second wife or whatever subsequent wife come along, and they're like, what the heck was I thinking? But when it comes down to it, it's still up to you. Nobody can break up your family. And and my thing is, this is my family, so I ain't break up no family. I'm part of the family.
Yeah, we're not used to, so we're on 10 years. So that is what it is, because usually that's one of those reflexes where it's a defense mechanism where somebody, usually at first, initial wife, will be upset or looking for some reason, and other people say, oh, that's a snake, and this person is doing this or doing that, to try to appease them or make them feel good because that's a friend. It's sad, but it is what it is. But then again, you probably and likely do deal with those types. People do deal with those types of situations. The challenge is you already know who's shady.
That's true.
We know who's shady. Okay, so when we're talking about polygyny, we ain't talking about shady stuff. We're not talking about some jump downs, back doors. We're not talking about that. Okay, but the individuals that do. The dude that's been married 15 times.
Yeah.
The sister that's been married a dozen times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's just be real about it. We know the deal. That doesn't mean you lose your common sense at all. Right. By the way, so if you're tuning in, connecting, streaming, whatever it may be, y'all connecting with us. Let us know where you connected from. I see Sister Bill Peace from Ghana. So Ajamu, in case you missed the announcement, you did win one of our courses. So be checking for your email shortly with your login details and everything else. So Ghana and Africa tends to represent peace of the motherland, no doubt. Raising awareness, love, power, some good words. Very respect your journey. Know that the amount of growth and pain you've gone through is monumental. You've definitely developed amazing, outstanding relationships. I applaud you. Those adjectives are dope.
Thank you.
Super job. So you broke free of the matrix, indeed. Neo. Great, kind words. Akil, how did you all become Muslim? That's a long question. We may not cover it in this. However, being a member of the Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, you actually will meet the instructors where we do go into that. If we have time toward the end, maybe we can touch on that.
Right.
So do you know of any successful polygynous couples who do live in the same house full time? What do you know about how they approach it? Some people may not be financially capable of having two homes.
I don't know them.
I don't.
I know them because, I know some. I don't know their names or anything like that because they talk about it. They talk about it online. They go on different groups and things like that. So, yeah.
Florida representing, Germany representing. Listen, I don't know anybody. I know people that have tried it who have done it for a very short time.
Yeah.
And some people have tried it for prolonged, but it doesn't seem, it's not, it's not, did you see this? Okay, anyway. It's not working. As long as that's good, we're good. It's not working as good as they would like it to work. So it usually, those whom I know, I haven't seen it long term. Not at all.
Either, yeah.
Okay, so and women have a right to their own spaces, not just their own rooms in particular. So if a person could not necessarily afford that, then they probably don't want to try it like that, unless again the people, the ladies may be more interested in something like that. I know some women say they don't want polygyny unless they're living in the same house because they're looking at it from their, a different perspective. But we don't personally know. I know brothers who've done it in other countries.
It's usually if the ladies want it. Like, seriously.
That's true.
When it is that way, it actually usually that way. Not that the husband is saying, hey, we're going to all live in one house. I don't know.
No, I know
usually if that's the case.
I know some elders in our community that were in polygyny when they were younger. These people are 80 now, but one sister specifically told me that her husband had a duplex situation. So one family on the top floor, one on the bottom floor, the main floor. The dimensions of the house were the same. Everything was the same. And she said it was easier for him that way. It was separate, but in the same house.
Oh, yeah.
So that worked for her. I mean, he wasn't the man for the job, and they ultimately did divorce. And she did say that was a solution. It was separate, but under the same roof, so to speak. So that might be a solution. But again, the women have to, I think it's healthy if the women say, this is what we want to do versus being told this is what we have to do. But even with that, the women still have to go, okay, I'll agree to that.
I think even the ones that who have talked about it online, it's just they're different. We are different, but you have some, wives like they have to have their own space because they cook, they do these things, they do a lot of their own. They want their own space for the things that they like to do.
Right.
But the ones who I've seen who would work like. The one likes to cook, the other one don't like to cook, so they're not worried about
banging into each other.
They're not worried about who, in the kitchen or this more, having anything like that. So it just really depends on, the individual or I guess the family. I can't even say the individual, but it depends on the family and what works for them, of course.
You have to customize it for your family within the parameters of Islam. So if you're Muslim. So that's so important. If you're Muslim, you have to, look at everybody's side. And if the women want to do it, then, that's great. We're never going to tell somebody necessarily not to do that, but you have to see what's best for your family. Like we know some brothers that drive trucks and things like that, and they're gone for days. He can't visit each home every other day or, that's difficult. And some women go, I want him to. I'm like, but your husband's in the truck 4 days a week. He can't do that.
I just thought of something. It's not polygyny based, but it just made me think of this couple who lives in the same house. Well, his ex lives with them.
Yeah.
And this is, because I'm watching Black Love.
Yeah,
that's
I
kind
know.
of my show.
Yep.
But Michael Beach.
Michael
Beach
Beach.
is whatever.
The
He and his
actor
wife.
guys.
Yeah, the actor. He and his wife, and their 4 children. His 4 children. And his ex-wife, they live together. And he travels and do certain things because he's an actor and certain stuff. She was like, his wife was like, I am so glad it works for us. She's like, yes, it's not something that
he was gone except for 7 months.
He was gone, and she was like, I probably would have been. I would have went crazy. She was like, she helped out so much, and they still to this day. That's what he has 8 kids. He has 4 with his previous wife and 4 with his current wife. But I guess the other ones are grown and gone, their own thing. But yeah, they live together and they love it. They're like, this works for us, whatever. So yeah, I had to think about that. I mean, it's not polygyny based, but that's next. The ex-wife that actually they share the same house.
That would be nice.
And it works for them.
That's the point. Now, just as a quick reminder for those who just plugged in with us, our promotion ends tomorrow night. So our cyber promotion ends tomorrow. So the best deal that we have is becoming a Relationship Mastery Inner Circle member. And if you do become a member for tomorrow, you get actually some of our other courses. So for example, going from monogamy to polygyny, that's a $297 course. You get that free. You get co-wives from conflict to cooperation, $197 course, free. You get a bonus coaching session, free. That's $147. And Let's Talk Polygyny, $29.95 book that we have that should be good to go early next year, free. As well as a private community. Free meaning bonuses as part of the relationship mastery. So you're not paying for that. All right, that's extra bonus. That is tomorrow night though. And then of course our giveaway winners are Shakira and Ajamu Butler. So you're looking for your email with your login details and credentials. So congratulations. Another question is polygyny. You hear a lot about polygyny. Are you against monogamy? Just saying it doesn't work. Like I said last week, I'll continue to say, and we all say, listen, we're not anti-monogamy. Not just pro polygyny and just this is the way to go and this is all that. For us, it works best. Right. And monogamy, it is what it is. We're simply pro morals. That's it. Yeah. All right, pro morals. Get married, establish your family, grow your family, grow as individuals. You know what I'm saying? Plant those seeds because everything comes back right there to the fam. If the fam is healthy, then the community is healthy, society is healthy, the nation is healthy, and so on. So coming back to you and your responsibility in the fam as a married family unit with responsibilities. Yes. So, Omar Johnson talked about it when he was talking about the destruction of the Black family in particular, starting in 1970. So if you don't have that clip, you're not familiar with it, look it up. Omar Johnson, 1970s attack on the Black family after the rise of Black consciousness in this country. So the biggest challenge to the continued oppressive forces that exist is a strong Black family that's able to bankroll their own thing. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of psychology and stuff behind it. Now is not the time for it, but really understand the significance of that. So we're pro morals. Absolutely. So hearing something like, oh my God, slut shaming, if you're not ashamed, do whatever you wish. But there should be some type of shame and there should be some type of code of conduct. And we deal with that. We talk about that. So it's very important. Again, we're not anti-monogamy, pro marriage. Right. All right. Pro normal, natural, reproductive marriage, right. And polygyny. So again, we talk about building outstanding personal relationships for a reason. So anyway, that just needs to be clarified sometimes because people, is polygyny for everybody? No. Is monogamy for everybody? No. Is marriage for everybody? No, not at all. Okay. The only thing that's really for everybody is life and death. Yeah. Okay. That's really it. So say what you like. You don't like it, you can skip on over it. If you want to learn more, hey, we welcome you. No problem. All right. So what else? Let me see. We have a number of different things. I think there's some questions. Yeah, let's go back to it. All right. One brother asked a question and you said, well, I don't know his brother. Yeah, his brother. Do you feel there's a prerequisite age for the male before practicing polygyny?
We have sons. All three of us have sons, many in this family. There's 6 boys in our family. And I would think that it's more of it's like a mental readiness and there's a financial readiness. Mm-hmm. So I think even with monogamy, the same thing. Mm-hmm. I think about what do our sons need to have in place to get married, period. Right. In addition to have a plural marriage, a polygynous marriage. What do they need mentally? What do they need to have physically? What do they need to have financially? I think those things need to be in place because the men are caring for the women in many ways. So I think that the mental health has to be in place. Like I wouldn't tell my 13, 14-year-old son who just turned 14 December 2nd, you need to get married not once but twice. He's not mentally ready. He's not financially ready. He might be physically, but because the hormones are popping. But I have to think about that as his mother. I think all 3 of us, especially you have a son that's older than our sons, and he's grown. But even with that, you have to think, my son is 20. Is he ready for marriage? Much less polygyny.
The short answer is the age part really doesn't matter. What matters is maturity. Okay. Yeah. So if you're able to demonstrate that are capable of being successful in one marriage, then you should be able to be capable of being successful in more than one. Okay. So there's not a necessary age. And I need to elaborate on this fact too, because as a Muslim, in Surah An-Nisa, the 4th chapter of the Quran, when Allah Ta'ala talks about marriage, he says marry 2 or 3 or 4. All right. And if you fear you can't do justice, then 1. Real simple. Most Muslim men today in particular, feel that they are unfair. They're unable to be fair. That is a sign of To me, that is a sign of weakness. And has been looked at as a sign of weakness from our culture all the way back, whether it's North Africa or whatever, as a sign of weakness. The reason is a man should be able to be fair and handle his business and stuff. Okay. Now with polygyny, that deals with your time, that deals with your money. But if you are walking around thinking that you're unable to be fair as a man, what does that say about you, your self-esteem, your lack of self-confidence and weakness? All right. So if that is the case, then do better. We want you to grow and be able to do better. Because if the normal natural state is 2 or 3 or 4, then you should probably be going 2 or 3 or 4 as a man, because it's required, it's needed in your community. More strong men are needed to lead things. One of the things today is Sunday. Today, churches are filled today. Well, kind of filled, depending on where you at and what football game is going on, right? But it's filled mainly with women, and women lead it. Again, nothing necessarily wrong with that in general, but men, myself included, when I was Christian, I wasn't feel pulled that way. When I went to church, even my father was at the house, we would go with moms. That was led in a certain way. So I was looking at it, it was more of a feminine thing. Men are supposed to lead. Okay.
Yeah,
so if you're unable to be fair and thinking that you're walking around not being able to be fair and your natural disposition as a leader, then that says more about lack of self-confidence and awareness about yourself. So I just need to point that out, because maturity matters, and maturity doesn't have an age. I know men older than me, uncles older than me, immature as ever, just grown boys. All right. Never had that rites of passage to really get to the next level or standard and code of conduct. If you will, I want to go on a thing on that. There are a couple, all the way on a tangent.
Here's
with
a
that.
good question.
But just want to say that, and people, I mean, we got Florida, Detroit in the house. How many left? Definitely welcome.
Here.
That's all right. Sister asks, how do you coming in as an additional wife, without thinking of yourself as a number? Like, because we're saying first wife, second wife, we're saying that just, to show kind of who was married first or second.
It's a
not
timeline
for any
thing.
stamp. It's not like you get second place ribbon, you get the first place ribbon. That's not how it works.
Both wives.
How do you think yourself not as just a number?
It takes personal development, because I did. So that's not even, something that I can just easily say, oh, just don't. No, it takes knowing you. It takes knowing the value you bring to the family, and it takes knowing who you are as a person. What do you want? What you want out of your marriage, and what do you want out of your relationships? What you want out of your family, that type of thing, and knowing that you are an individual, so you're not a number. But it actually takes knowing that and believing in that. It takes really not listening to the naysayers, but that's easy to say. It's easier said than done. I'm actually in the program talk about how you can do that. But but the thing is that truly it comes to just being proud of you, and knowing your value. That's how you come in there, because you're not. I said this before, and I said it actually in the program. I said, I came in with the mentality of I'm being added to the family. I'm being, it was this type of thing. And it did my mindset put me at a position, me putting myself in a position of being that number. Not only being that number, but feeling that my voice didn't matter. When I had something to say, when I had some input that could have been beneficial to the family or to, my marriage or anything like that, and comparing. You got to not compare. You got to look at it as that, I know myself, I know what I want, I know what I like, I know, what I deserve and what I desire, and be able to speak that eloquently. And that means that not, coming from a place of inferiority, coming from a place of entitlement, coming from a place of, just in a place of not being unsure of your value and who you are as a person. I hope that helped.
It did.
Indeed. Perfectly did. Now, there's some good questions
Very
here.
good.
So, catch a chat. Shalom, shalom, peace, salam. Good question, good conversation. Now, sister asked a question. For me, Florida, what's up, sister Khadija? Salam alaikum. She says, what made you want a second wife? You say nothing was lacking. Can you elaborate? Jazakallah. I mean, why, yeah. Yes. What made me want a second wife?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Kids said they liked when I turned my chair toward their dad last week, so this is going to be a thing. Wait a minute. Let me go get the spotlight.
All right. What made me want a second wife? I'm a man. I'm a man. So just understand this question. Understand this. I would never understand what it is for a woman to feel how they feel on a cycle or when they give birth. Yeah. So Allah Ta'ala created us in such a way that is so easy to see. You can really see the difference as men. Yes. Okay. So when he talks about Jannah and talks about the wives in Jannah, Hurayeen in Jannah, all these things, what motivates men, in case you didn't know, are women. When we talk about the story of Adam and Hawa being created and completing him, if you will, it's women. Women are the driver. Guys don't want to get this big car, have these rims and all this junk because they like it and they need it. No, they do that because it attracts women. All right. Women like it. You want to be fresh and smell good and all that and groomed, even though I'm not as groomed as I want to be fresh right now. Do that for women. It's not like you do this for other guys. Hey, the brother said I smell good. What? You know what I'm saying?
Said, look at the shoulders.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we do it because we love women. There's an inherent desire for us to love women. That's it. Now, I wasn't like, oh, I love women, let me go get married. Wasn't on the prowl. Wasn't even looking for polygyny. Okay, I wasn't. But I was open to it. Okay, for real. Wasn't on the prowl like, sister,
I would hope not.
Yeah, but some people think that, oh, well, this thing.
He wasn't on the prowl in high school.
Now, just to talk about, yeah, for sure. I wasn't. She almost lost me. She rejected me. It was over. I was like, well, that was it. Until she came back chasing. Anyway, but listen, you will never understand. There's many different reasons. All right, there's many different reasons, but the main thing is that you are either going to pursue something in an honorable fashion or not. Okay? Yeah. So, for example, as a man, as a Muslim, I have a certain code that I must abide by because I don't only just believe in it, but I want to practice it. So I want to experience all of Islam, not just a part of it. I want to limit myself to a certain part. I don't want to do that. But as a man, it gives you an honorable way to deal with things. So let me ask you a question. Let's ask myself this question. I have uncles and cousins and grandfathers and all this kind of stuff. Well, no, I had grandfathers and stuff like that. But most of them, the vast majority of them, the ones that I know, they were messing with other women outside of their marriages.
My grandpa was a horn dog.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. So now polygyny isn't cheating, but polygyny is something that's honorable. Now it's much easier to just go if it was a sex thing. If it was, when I say I love women, it's not sex where you just, I just love the sex of women, because that's easier and much easier to do and much more acceptable in society to do than it is to marry a woman, to honor them with that. Because you can go have sex. I mean, there's prostitution stuff going on. There's all kind of stuff that satisfies this desire in a way that's not honorable. Okay? But it's the way we're designed. That's it. If we weren't designed in such a fashion, we wouldn't do so much hard work and so much challenge. So, hey, look at this big building I made, this wonder of the world and blah, 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 to come home and have peace with women. Women, I haven't seen a creation better than women, period. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Right. Women, it's the beauty, it's all that stuff. That's what they are. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to have a marriage and double that and do more, that wasn't something, you know what, I'm not getting it over here with this, so let me marry this. Well, I'm not getting this here, so let me marry another one. That's dumb. You know why? Because they're not getting everything that they desire or want from me. So to think that this is a puzzle and I need to complete my puzzle with another person, like I'm completing everything for this person, but they're not completing everything for me. That would be silly. You know what I'm saying? We all have faults. We all have flaws. We all fall short. So just understand that men love women. Period. I'll talk to people, they marry monogamously, they're Muslim, they're non-Muslim, and I'll talk about wives or talk about polygyny or something, or they hear something, then it's like, their ears come over like, man, tell me about how you, that's a whole lot to be dealing with, because they would rather just go ahead and get, be a sugar daddy, you know what I'm saying, and do something like that versus to take care of what you're supposed to as a man.
It's easier to cut it off that way.
Indeed, and
wanna
it's
speak
accepted
on
in
that.
society. But that's that part.
I have something to say about that too. With Coach Nazir saying there's an honorable way to do this and that. That's true. But he also was married to somebody that he knew wasn't going to deal with anything less than that, less than another wife. So the value that I believe in Islam and believe in as a woman, he could not, and being the man that he is, would not approach me with anything that was immoral, because I'm not going to deal with anything immoral and I know it. So the best way to deal with wanting another wife is getting another wife. So it wasn't a thing where something was broken, like he was saying, and he needed to fix with someone else. But being a woman that believes in Islam in all areas is important, because that is an option for him. And as an initial wife, as a subsequent wife, as a third, fourth wife, because this can keep going up to 4. So I want to speak to all 4 positions as wife. That's important to understand as an initial wife, that all aspects of Islam we should accept and not go, well, like everything except for polygyny, because I've heard that too, Muslim to Muslim. And I've had to correct some women, some sisters on that. You can't say I like everything but that one thing. But it's good to say, you know, this is the halal option. This is the moral option, is to get another wife. So he didn't have a wife that he knew he wasn't going to try to play with me with that at all, because he has a relationship with Allah that has little to do with me. But if there are brothers out there that are playing, he knew he couldn't play with me on that. It has to be a wife, and that's what he would want. So I appreciate that.
And she also discusses, Coach Nyla also discusses why she married a married man.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
when I talk about, just go back to that question where I talked about if a man is able to handle one marriage and mature enough to handle one marriage, he should be able to be mature enough to handle 2. Of course, there's prerequisites so far as time and money goes, but she was able to see I was already married. This wasn't something that was guesswork with. She had been married before. You know what I'm saying? So there's other history that goes along with it. Now, we do have a question from Sister Fatimah. She says she met a brother who's married, and they're both interested in marriage, but she's afraid her family will flip out, and she also feels insecure about it. Do we have any advice there? But she also adds, this is important, he says he's unhappy in his current marriage, but doesn't want a divorce again. Is that a red flag? Thank you for putting that second part too, Sister, because that wasn't there. That's important. So what would you like to say on that?
Oh, see, it's hard. That one's
because my mouth is ready to run.
You know, after you threw the cliffhanger curveball, that was
that
was hard. The question was easy at first, like, hey, this is what you said.
Right now, she went deep with that.
Yeah, the other part was like, ooh, because.
Where should we start?
Okay. One of the things is, you know, your parents will flip or people will flip. You know, that's
they're gonna flip.
They're gonna flip.
I don't care what you do.
Your life is your life. Your marriage is your marriage. Yep. I mean, I'm saying this from experience and, you know, all of that, because people ain't gonna always like what you do. You know.
Yeah.
And you're not hurting them or anything. You can't. You know, you got to live for you. You can't live for them. That other part though, with someone's telling you about not being happy with.
I don't know why he would say that.
Yeah, that part is.
That part he should not do. We're just gonna say that. Yeah,
to discuss. And this is a thing where like it's difficult because we only see a piece of that, right. Because there are certain things people can mistakenly or what's the word I'm looking for? Being naive to saying some things, and they may have to get checked, you know, to say, you know, you might not want that. Don't do that, you know, and then they may not do that anymore. Right. And then, you know, they may, you know, start working on, you know, their marriage and, you know, different things like that. Because of course, like we talked about it before, we constantly talk about it. Getting married or being in polygyny is not the Band-Aid, the fix of a messed up marriage that you got going on with.
Right.
And so that's the thing. It's not, the way I'm looking at it is not that he's getting married to and being in polygyny or wanting to be in polygyny to fix that. It's just that he don't want to end the one he already has because he don't want to get divorced again. However, to say that, that's the part that I'm having that issue.
You shouldn't have knowledge of that
Knowledge of that part.
at all.
Here, I'm gonna tell you like this. If that was my daughter and she said somebody's interested and so on and whatever, and he doesn't want to get divorced again, he's unhappy, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
Straight up.
Nope, there's drama there. One, I don't know the reason for his divorce. It may be straight, maybe fine. But this is not to patch up another marriage, nor is it manly or masculine to run with your challenges from this marriage and go tell it to somebody else, especially somebody you ain't married to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he should really be, it would be better, in my opinion, if you are serious to have someone speak on your behalf. Wali, if you have a Muslim family member, speak for him, because that's the proper procedure. All right, father, brother, some Muslim or male on your behalf. And one of the reasons is good game recognize all game. All right, because it could really be a game.
Yeah.
And just remember again, men are seduced by their eyes, women are seduced by their ears. So he'll tell you all kinds of great stuff and all flowery and everything else. And next thing you know, it happens. Wife blows the fan, you the new thing, and you get dismissed because you the new thing. You know, I've seen it happen, and it's sad, but it does. So my thing is, I wouldn't allow my daughters to go further in something like that. That sounds like it could be a mess, but again, we don't know all sides and anything else, but it's better to get somebody involved on your behalf, as that's better. So Brother Farouk asked a question. He says, marriage is a hands-on experience. Wisdom is learned while in the marriage. Are you suggesting the man can be mentally prepared for 2 wives, excluding the marriage? Mentally prepared? No. You can develop yourself. That's the point. The point is develop growth and personal development. So can you mentally be prepared without even being married for more than 1 wife? No. But what you can do is you can have some emotional fortitude about yourself. So knowing how to communicate, knowing what your personality type is to make sure and see how compatible you are. The things you can do, obviously, the stuff you can measure, that's easy. The money, the time, that's the easy stuff right there. And we'll talk about that briefly in a second. That's easy to do. It's the other interpersonal stuff and dealing with emotions and testing your patience and knowing when to argue on something and how to argue on something with somebody. So you can work on your leadership stuff. You can work on your presentation. But again, you're right. The wisdom comes from being in the marriage, being married. All right. And then even just that, if you're doing it well with one person and you're doing it, you're making it happen. I'm talking, you're not going to marry 2 at a time at the same time. But doing that and having that information, that further adds to your armor, if you will, of equipping you and empowering you to grow as a man. So why consider polygyny when you're not even married to begin with, and monogamy? Start with 1. All right. You can have the desire, the thought, and all that stuff can be there. It took my wife, we were married 15 years already before practicing polygyny for the last 9. So we had 24 years and 9 years. So mentally, you can work on yourself, work on your leadership, work on your communication, work on understanding emotions, work on your psychology, work on all of these things. And while you're working on that, it makes you that much more attractive. So the person you attract, if you're not just looking and using your eyes, should be on a higher level already. So if they're already working before even meeting you or marrying you, and you're already working, you already, are farther along that journey than just starting just at the beginning.
And you're going to keep working throughout life. You're not going to just do the work and then get married and then forget the personal development part. Keep it going. Keep it going.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Sapiosexual being valid through polygyny. Of course, sapiosexual, somebody who's attracted to intelligence. Not just, that's intelligence, they're from an attractive person. But I think intellectual stimulation along with the other parts of ourselves are important. I mean, there's very few things more sorry than a beautiful dummy.
Yeah,
they don't get married usually.
Beautiful idiot.
Right. Beautiful idiot. Yeah, that's beautiful
moron. We got some in there, Damn. We're checking for some more questions. Please send them in.
And as a quick reminder, again, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store with the coupon code OPR50 will get you our promotion before the end of the night tomorrow night when it ends.
Another assumption. Did we finish our assumption?
Finish with that one.
Did we do this one?
Just gonna take a lot of time.
Okay.
Because I got some other stuff too. So
Boom. Okay. We're gonna go back to assumption. This is the last one. Do you and your co-wife support your husband financially? No.
I support that he's financially able to do what he needs to do. No.
Right. We support his mental health and well-being. But financially, this is not that. And we're not saying that there's an issue. Yeah. With people that do help. We give gifts to him.
Gifts.
Eid, birthday, maybe, stuff like that. But and in between. But we don't financially support him, so it's not you all get out there and work, and then I sit there and look handsome.
What do I'm trying to think is bad. I'm like, what do husbands need financial support? That's bad. I'm like, that's our stuff.
Yes.
You're supposed to support them.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people think we're out here working to save him, or I don't know what. We get some really wild assumptions, but that one we don't support him financially. We support him in other ways.
No, it's just he got his own house, so we pay for that.
Yeah, we pay for our own houses, our own cars, our own gas, and he's just a fixture in our lives. No, we don't.
But yeah, it's a good question though.
It is.
You know why? I'm gonna tell you something I came across, and it really it worked. It upset me a little bit.
Burned your biscuits.
Yeah, that's it.
Biscuits burning.
You know what I'm saying? There's a video by this guy called kind of like a self-relationship guru. He has some good stuff sometimes.
I know what you
but it's hard for me to take advice from anybody who's not been married before. Period. And that has a lot of on and off relationships that just tend to not work out. All right. Even if you're in the gym working out. A lot of times, or not, I don't know. I can't say whether or not it's a lot of times, but I do game recognize game. So sometimes you are talking about relationships and all this sweet stuff. Women are seduced by their ears. You could be talking to catch. You talking just to go ahead and get females all in your inbox and this type of stuff. So this dude was talking about polygamy. He said, polygamy is a bunch of BS. That's like the title of the YouTube video. Y'all can check it out. Yeah, his name is Derek Jackson. I'll let you know. So if you want to look it out for real, check it out. So he's talking about polygamy. Polygamy is a bunch of BS. Dude sitting there talking about we don't have 4 wives. Y'all get $10 an hour. Y'all get 4. Y'all pool y'all money together. You make 6 figures a year. Yeah. See, and blah blah blah. The issue he was talking about had nothing to do with polygyny. Period. He trying to blame polygamy because some idiot talking about y'all all get together, we all work $10 an hour, and they pool our money together to make 6 figures, which is dumb. In our opinion, it don't work. That doesn't make any financial sense. But his issue was he was complaining about that aspect. He was complaining about that economic piece. Okay. It had nothing to do with polygyny. That's not polygyny. I don't know brothers that are married and they like bring money home, they put it all in a pot, and then that's what polygyny is about. I haven't met anybody on that foundation. Some look at it as an economic benefit, and it can be an economic benefit. It is. Okay, it can. Really. But that's not it. Oh, everybody's just going to work. You bring your money back home, and then this is how we build an empire. No, that's not. It ain't going to really work in that fashion. So that was really, really stupid. That had nothing to do with polygyny. Polygyny is marrying more than one woman. Okay, when you watch these shows, what is that? One man, three husbands, sister wives, whatever. You see these things. You don't see these people out there. These women going to work and probably bring money home to take care of their husband.
If they do, it's not for him.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So when you confuse an argument in order to try to get your point across, then that kind of exposes you, in my opinion, for what you are. The argument is about polygyny, but you have an issue with the way they talk about they're doing and choosing to do their finances. To me, that's a really dumb way of finances. We're about to talk about the polygyny business right now since we finished the assumption part. So that was dumb. All right, so if y'all see that video, go check it out, whatever it is, what it is. But that was really, really stupid. And I lost a lot of respect for dude on that part. And I didn't really, some people just do it to catch. So they say stuff or they comment on other stuff. People, they can have their own opinions and their own views. But the main thing you have to come with more my personality type, you need to come with some type of intelligence and show your argument. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to being wrong. I'm wrong more than I like to admit. But if your argument is about polygyny, bring something about polygyny in the institution of that, not the way somebody handles their finances. That doesn't make any sense.
And bring it to me, you in polygyny.
That's ridiculous. So, with that being said,
and we have some.
I'll check real quick. We're gonna talk about the family, the business, real quick. All right. Just know if you could do. How do you know if you can cope with polygyny before entering it? What qualities should you have? And she's looking at possibly entering it as an incoming wife.
Bam.
So, how do you know? How do you, as a woman, know if you could cope with it before entering it? What qualities would you suggest a person has?
Well, I can speak on that from the perspective of others.
Do that real quick. I'm like trying to process it in my head because when I can't, because I can't say I can only say it from my perspective because other people they have their other ways.
Yeah.
But saying that can you cope, or cope, that's the thing that is different for me because going into polygyny or practicing polygyny wasn't a thing that was negative to me. It wasn't something that I felt like I had to cope with or had to get myself together for, anything like that. When I talked about feeling a certain type of way of being brought into a family, it wasn't anything negative until I started feeling that I wasn't speaking up or, certain things that I would like to do or anything like that. So I didn't come into with a negative mindset or something that I had to cope with or try to deal with or anything like that. It was something that I was
It wasn't something you came in thinking you had to tolerate.
Yeah, to tolerate anything. It was like something that I was actually happy to be a part of, and I saw this different. Yeah, so it's totally different. So I guess that's kind of a thing. How would you, what qualities? Where you looking at it, where it's nothing that that's not a thing you have to cope with. That is something that is something that's positive. If this is something that you want to do,
right?
And
you have to be selfless. You have to have I thought about what Coach Nyla had to have. You have to have a huge heart, especially when you're coming into a family that like ours that had 6 children in it. You had to have a heart that would fit your husband, your co-wife, your bonus children, your children. Mm-hmm. You have to come into it accepting. Being accepting of others, if you look at it as a positive thing. Now, if you're looking at it as a negative thing, then you create a separation in your mind already. And then, you're coming into it with some negativity that's important to not enter it with a negative mind.
All right, here's something. I'm not going to tell you what you have to have because you don't have to have anything. Okay, you don't. You don't have to have peace between co-wives.
Yeah.
You don't. All right. Just because we chose to go on a certain vision and grow to a certain point to be there, you don't have to have it. They don't even have to be friends.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes it a little more challenging, but they don't have to be friends. They don't have to speak to each other, anything like that. My wives are courteous, but it goes to a question that Sister Yakub, who asked some really great questions last week, talked about. But I just want to let you know that best practices wise, you should have a good heart. You should have some emotional intelligence about yourself and want to grow. Because if you don't, it'll still make your marriage to that husband that much more challenging because he still has love and emotions for this wife. And if he has pain over it, it's still there. Regardless, he may not direct it towards you or anything like that or whatever, but you still dealing with the same individual that still has to deal with different people. So if there's not peace stirred up, if you're not having any type of peace, the man's still going to deal with the storm, but that's your responsibility as a man to be able to deal with that. Hence, we talked about emotional development.
That's what I want to say. As far as the thing, like she said, with qualities, one thing is being understanding of that. Here's the thing. Sometimes women don't understand that the man has a lot to deal with when it comes to dealing with multiple personalities, dealing with trying to balance trying to balance different households, trying to balance the emotions of what's going on of a transitioning type of period with an initial wife, and balance the emotions of trying to build a marriage with a new wife. These different things come into play, period, when it comes to polygyny. So when it comes to what type of quality, that one thing that I would say that will make it so much better for you as an incoming wife is being understanding. Being the person that understands those things, but also being a person that's able to speak your piece, being able to communicate effectively with your spouse as well.
Indeed, I agree. Now, there's another question for you. All right. So many of the wives, in same situation here, say they have a very, very difficult time at the beginning because they just can't stand the thought of the husband being with another woman. And Shaitan tries to get all the concentration to the other couple's bedroom. This makes them so psychologically down. So how do you deal with that?
The bedroom part?
At the very beginning of polygyny, knowing that, okay, he's married to another woman, so obviously marital acts and intimacy and stuff like that go on. So how do you deal with that as an initial wife, that your husband's being with another woman type thing? And again, now just as a caveat, we deal with this more, of course, in our courses where we go deeper.
Yeah.
All right, because there are different steps and stages and growth and levels that you go through that really getting right now is a little much, but it's a good question. It's an important question because that's the main thing a woman would think about anyway. They think, oh, he just married just for sex, or the women say it a number of different ways. Oh, he just one woman, you could have just did this, or non-Muslims, or period, or people that cheat. One of the questions that comes from the woman is, well, do you love her? And then the man's like, well, I don't even love her. It was just the act. It was just the act of doing something. You know what I'm saying? So, right, maybe it is. Who knows?
Men don't attach like we do to sex.
So looking at, I can't agree with that, but that's a matter of connection. But the point is, when there's a new polygynous relationship, usually at the beginning, like the sister noted, women really have a hard time. So how can that be addressed or really dealt with?
I thought more about my time versus someone else's time. So I tried to, since I'm Muslim, I made dua about it. I asked Allah, I prayed about it. And I had to focus. I have children, so I'm a mother as well. So when those times would come, I thought about my time and what I was going to be doing versus what he was doing outside of my presence. Because if you think about it and you put it in your mind and you say, I'm his wife and she's his wife too. So that's an option, just like it is for me. So if you keep going, oh, she has your co-wife has all the option. She has all the time with him. They do all this stuff together. They, and you don't go me, and him. Then you go focus on that, which you think of most. So I switched it and flipped it over and said, I need to focus on what I'm doing with him, what I'm doing with our children, what we're doing together, not because it will consume you. What someone else is doing with someone else will consume you. And I'm going to go back to men attaching themselves to sex differently than women do. I'm talking about the men of the dunya, the men of the light, the men of this world will go, they'll speak on it and say, we don't catch feelings like women do. But we're talking about men that are married. He already has feelings for us both. They're there. So he's not going to run off. But in general, men have stated that they don't catch feelings like women do in the act of sex. They can run off and go do it with somebody else because they compartmentalize who they're with. I'm with this wife right now. I love this one over here, but this is what we're doing. Women at times, oftentimes, will mull over things and rethink them and overthink them and let it consume us mentally and drive us crazy. Men go, I'm over here, I'm with this wife, we're watching a movie, I'm with this one. Love her, but I'm here. We go, he's there, he's with her, what are they doing? We keep going and going and going. But I really switched the focus on what was I doing with him, not what he was doing with his other wife. So it sounds easy. Did it come to me like that? No, it didn't. It took personal development. It took time. I thought about who I am, what makes me unique versus anybody else in the world. The good thing about me and my relationship with me is that I love myself a lot. And so I don't necessarily worry about if people like me, because it's like Bernie Mac said, I like me. So I knew I was and still am a catch. He caught us both, but it took some time to say, it's okay that he's over there because that's where he's supposed to be today. And there's nothing wrong with it. See, if we stop making something wrong with it, with him being at his other wife's house, we know a brother that has 3. So he's 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, and on the 7th day it's for himself. And it's okay to say, he's supposed to be there. That's his wife. Those are his children with her. That's all right. The same way when he's at my house, he's supposed to be with me and our children, thus and so. So you really have to take control of your mind and your thoughts, because we all know thoughts are things. And you can become obsessed. I'm telling you, I've seen women obsessed with what their husband is doing. I wasn't obsessed with what he was doing before he entered polygyny. I didn't care. Long as he wasn't hit by a bus, nobody hurt a hair on his head. He was doing what he loved. He was happy and healthy. He was being there for our children and active in our family. He can do whatever he wants to do. I'm not in the business of raising grown men. Neither one of us are. So it's a thing now because he got married again. No, I still have stuff to do. I had stuff to do before he got married. So I like me. And I think you should like yourself too, and refocus that energy. Refocus it.
That's a funny thing. I mean, I'm sorry, and not to like this, but I'm sorry. Sometimes any subsequent wives out there, sometimes I have to.
Where you at, y'all?
I got to speak for y'all because
yes,
and not to be just saying, hey, like I just don't hey, I don't know about subsequent wives here. No, it's just that. Sometimes we're swept under the rug, so I gotta say some stuff because they say, well, because you already, you knew the deal, you knew what it was. Look, nobody. There's people that ask that too, like, hey, how do you feel about, your,
the husband, the vice versa.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We all have feelings. We women, we have these feelings. We have these jealousies. We have this stuff. Yes. Subsequent wives have jealousies and feelings.
We think of that stuff too.
We think of that too. But the interesting thing, like you said, though, the loving yourself, and because I'm like, I've dealt with subsequent wives who was like, how do you? I know I came into polygyny. I know that he was already married. I know this stuff. It doesn't make it where when he. I just saw a post. I don't know if it was a post or if it was a question that I'm gonna have to get back to. I don't know how to look. Whatever, because I'll be everywhere on this thing trying to, help. So she was like, I got married, and she was like, I know this thing. She's like, but it hurts when he leaves. Every time he leaves me, I'm hurting. This is a subsequent wife here. She said,
it just needs to be destroyed.
So she said, like, she just, so people be like, well, the first thing that would happen is people like, well, you know what you were getting into.
Yeah, but you don't really until you're in it.
You really don't know. So it's like you don't. I just saw a comment. I don't know what probably was on that. No. It was a comment on someone else that was. She said. So she said, she's like,
is it showing up on that phone?
She said,
it is.
The camera?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I see it moving?
See us.
Oh yeah,
I see us.
She said,
Is it moving?
Yep, it's moving. It's moving. She said subsequent wives can't complain. They said they were like, nope. They was like, complaining is only reserved for first wives. Subsequent wives cannot complain. They cannot say anything. They can't complain. That's reserved for first wife. So this is the thing. The thing is this. Yes, we're women, we're human, we're people too. So when I saw that and she put that out there where she was like, I know this, but it hurts me when he leaves. And I think they're in a different country. So he's leaving for like months, whatever. And so she's like, whatever. And she was like, so, and then she's like, it was these feelings. And I get that. So the thing is, it's the same advice goes. Like seriously, it doesn't matter if you first, second, third, fourth. It doesn't matter.
Well, fourth
you
is,
got
well, no, she can feel away because I'm thinking about a fifth one. Like,
but he's still
can
going
still,
to third
he's
and
still
second,
leaving. Right.
So he's still leaving.
Right.
So the thing is this: it's the same thing goes. You know, take care of you. Take care of you.
Yeah.
Love you. Do the things that you need to do for you. Don't be so attached to him. You know that you're not. You know, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not doing the things that you need to do that make you happy, because it's not his job to make you happy. It's yours.
Yeah,
you know, it's
true.
not his job to make you fulfilled. It's yours. So, you know, you work on that and get that together, and y'all be great together. You know what
I'm saying? Or be great when the other two aren't around. Because it's so interesting, because when he traveled abroad and we both were here, we still, you know, did what we needed to do for ourselves and our children. It was no different. It was no different. We still had to individually take care of ourselves.
Indeed.
We had to.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, you did it?
Reached out now, I did.
Oh, okay.
No,
we lost y'all. And you guys inspire us. I saw a comment that said that, what is that noise? Okay. We saw a comment that said that I'm inspired by the three of you. You all inspire us to do this work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, you guys inspire us. You know, you guys help us.
You guys show up every week.
Yeah, you show up. You give us. You guys help us with content, because here's the thing. We sometimes, and we'll say this, we come from a place of privilege. Sometimes we'll have to go back and try to think back of like, okay, what did we go through? What happened?
What do you all need?
Whatever. Yeah. So, you know, to put these things out there and ask these questions, for one, you guys are really, you know.
You guys ask some great questions.
And you guys are, that's a vulnerability that we do appreciate.
Yeah.
And, you know, inshallah, God willing, what we say, what we do, help you guys out.
Yeah, because sometimes we're telling you what worked for us, what didn't work for us. I mean, this is best practices.
You know, worst practices that didn't messed up and blew up in faces.
Yeah, that stuff. So we're really out here giving you, this is exclusive stuff, and it took years to get here. So some people say, oh, you guys have such a great woo-and-la. We were never, you know, disrespectful toward each other. And I never, you know, I will always say wife. I never said mistress. I never said baby mom or anything. And if people did that, I stopped them immediately, because what you're not going to do is have the three of us looking crazy. Now I'm standing there. So, and that really goes for the three of us, but you guys inspire us too. But we really want to give you what worked for us and what didn't work for us. And we're still learning polygyny as we go, but this is some powerful information.
Continue to get better as we go. That's what you got to do. You got to grow. Continue to grow, because if you're not growing, you don't stay stagnant. You're growing, or you dying. You're climbing or you sliding. So,
all right, quick question for those who are on Facebook. Can you see us? Because some people say they can't see us for some reason. The cameras are right there. That's Facebook. I'm pointing to. It's YouTube. We're pointing to right here. That's Instagram over there. So we're streaming all three properties. So if you can't, let me know on Facebook. If you're streaming from there, let us know if you see us. Give us a thumbs up or say yes or whatever. And also let us know if you haven't already, let us know where you're tuning in from, what city, state, country. Then let us know. So you can now. Okay, good. Thank you, Tara. All right, good. So it was tripping.
I don't know what happened.
That was tripping.
That's a first.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It was looking like it was good. But anyway, we're back. Here's the deal. And we've already been over an hour now. So, you know what I'm saying? We love talking. We love talking. We love sharing it and we get into it. But we need to talk very quickly about the business of polygyny, because one, it's important. And there's some other good questions. If we can't get to it again, you can always email us, support@outstandingpersonrelationships.com. And before I get into it, another reminder, because we had to reconnect, is tomorrow night our cyber special ends. So if you actually are looking for something deeper, that is more deep dive, that has steps, downloadable worksheets, downloadable audios, a bonus coaching call with us and all of that, then you probably should be looking into the Relationship Mastery Inner Circle program that we have every single month. You can check it out at outstandingpersonrelationships.com/store using the coupon code OPR50. All right. All right, business of polygyny, business and money. This is important because, well, first of all, money is important anyway because it affects every area of our lives. Many things don't. And I learned a long time ago, and I adopted the philosophy that the most important things in my life would be structured with faith, family, and finances. Faith, family, and finances, not to get any of them confused or out of order, because should she decide all of a sudden that she's not going to be acting right and all the stuff with Islam, guess what? All the attraction or anything else goes out the window. All right. If she doesn't, I'm just saying, we have our allegiance to Islam. We have our allegiance to the one who created us first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that in and of itself, that creed in and of itself helps guide our lives and what to expect, also what to accept. All right, that's very important. So now let's talk about the measurable stuff. So we're talking about polygyny, or we're just talking about marriage, talking about business. Yesterday, for example, financial intelligence is extremely important. So increasing your financial IQ should be a matter of priority for any man. Because we wrote this white paper called The 3 Undeniable Laws of Manhood. If you didn't get it, email us. You got to email us, or you can go to the site or whatever, but I don't even think it's rated up for everybody anymore. We wrote a report about the 3 undeniable laws of manhood being to provide, to protect, and exercise personal power, basically 3 Ps. Okay. And it's essential. So even talking about my sons, you know, 6 sons and stuff like that, is very important that they know certain things. And money is just a means to have more options. That's really the best way to explain it. Money is very neutral as well. It doesn't care what you are, who you are, whatever. All right. If you're a good person with money, you're going to do good with that money. You're going to help other people. If you're a bad person, it's just going to magnify what you already are. So you'll do worse with money. Money is neutral. Money doesn't care. All right. Money's not the root of all evil, as they say. No, it's not. But it's neutral. So it's important to understand that. So what we do in polygyny, for example, people guess and they say, oh, well, are they working to support me? Or are y'all just trying to just get money and doing this for that? Look, here's the thing. What we do is a few different things. Prior to starting outstanding personal relationships, and we only decided to really start it because we got to a good place. We've been already helping people out. We would say people's marriages and stuff fall apart. And it's just sad to do, and doing it on a lower or smaller level, where we do it individually or in our locality, doing different workshops or traveling to South Shy and coaching individuals, it becomes a little more tedious. So we already know, based on our previous and current business as well with parenting, we teach parenting, or the book on parenting. We have parenting courses and everything else that teach our framework. So one of the things we do is digital business. Why? It's open 24 hours, period. Right. 1. Number 2, it doesn't have geographical restrictions.
Right.
3, it's invisible. So if you want to talk to me as a consultant, and I'm talking to you as a consultant, I'm going to ask you, what are you getting that's invisible that people don't see? Because people don't see it, e-commerce money, then they don't have avenues open for it. So this is what I mean, knowledge commerce. So if you want to get one of our courses, let's say our 6-week outstanding Muslim parents course that we have, it's $397. Okay, 10 of those a month is about $4,000 a month, about almost $50,000 a year. That's about double what the people of color make, Black people make in the city that I'm living in right now. Just only 10 a month. Not a bad deal. You know what I'm saying? The membership over there is $47 a month. We go live, we broadcast, you can download all kind of extra bonuses and stuff. Well, let's build a $47 a month membership up to, let's just say, only 100 people a month. You see the business there? $4,700 a month times 12. That's business. Okay, that's one of the business we've been doing since 2012. So it's imperative, 1, to have some type of knowledge of business. So yesterday when we met with our daughters, our older daughters, we talked to them about money, business, raising your financial IQ. Now they've already read different things and played different games being younger, but now since they're older, they have a little bit more experience. Now it's like, they freelance and do different jobs, or they might have a little job and stuff. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's revisit Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Just on the fundamentals. Like, what's the number 1 rule of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? They didn't necessarily remember. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I waited too long to have you guys revisit it. I can bring up the reports they did. My daughter yesterday, my 19-year-old, she was like, yeah, I first read this when I was 9. Right. Maybe that's a little too early for her. But I wanted to know when I was 13, 14. So she's revisiting it now. Where the first number one rule in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is don't work for money. Rich don't work for money. And number 2 is mind your business. So now she's learning these rules, and she does different jobs, different things that she does. So now she can relate it more, where it's more practical in her life. And we play cash flow 101, teaching them how to go ahead and get some property. Make sure you get your property. Even if one of my daughters yesterday, she had a property, she was losing $100 a month. So it was a negative cash flow property. But when the market came up though, she made like about 40 grand on it. So she's able to see some basic things. She's 17. So one is to raise your financial IQ. All right, here's the thing. You can do that relatively easy. Library cards are free. You don't even have to buy the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You can get it online. You get the audio book. You can download it. It doesn't matter. Or I like physical books personally. So I like them. I like to have them in my hand, do some kinesthetic read, all of this stuff. It's like $8 or something at half price books. And they always have a bunch of them. I need to get more because I've given so many away. But now since the children are older, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is an easy place to start. Then Think and Grow Rich, OG version. The original version, not the 2.0, 3.0 version they're using Schultz and all these other individuals. Now, give me the original version with the interesting English and the Thomas Edison examples and all that stuff from the 1930s. That's the one I want to do because that book took 25 years to write to get the 13 best principles of the 500 wealthiest people on the planet at the time, all different education levels, all different types of backgrounds. He amalgamated all of that information, boiled it down to 13 principles that made these people wealthy. Kind of important. I don't want to spend 25 years and I don't have the connections. Neither did Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill was put in charge with Dale Carnegie, who was a billionaire at the time. Dale Carnegie opened up his Rolodex, because it was a real Rolodex back then, and put him in contact and gave him a 25-year assignment. If I can go ahead and take a 25-year assignment and get it in one book and read it in 25 days and begin implementing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those principles, it would change your financial life. So think and grow rich. Not go to school, get good grades, get a good job, do very well, please a boss and all this, and then grow rich. That's not the name of the book. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Okay, so that's another part, financial IQ, old stuff. One, start reading. One of my mentors told me, readers, they leaders. All right, my grandmother told me a long time ago, you want to hide something from a nigga, put in a book. That's what she said. I have to quote her exactly. That's what she said. Right. Now, whether or not you choose to be illiterate by not reading, or you don't know how to read, not much of a difference. But we're privileged. So we know how to read, but choose not to. All right. Again, it depends on what your values and the importance you put on it are. So those are some basic places to start. Now, so far as real estate, we have some properties. We run a property, so we, comes in every month, cash flow every month. There's different programs in every city, but the city I'm in is very racist. All right, extremely racist. All right, the most segregated city in the country. Now, with that being said, why do I say that right now? I'm talking about properties because it also presents a valuable opportunity. All right, where there are these challenges and issues, there's also opportunity. So the house prices where I am, according to Johns Hopkins University, who looked at, I think, 17 or 18 metro cities, show that the house prices here are suppressed over between 30 to 60% of what they're actually worth because of racism. So make racism work for you. All right, make racism work for you. You can get a property that actually has higher value, but you get it cheaper. All right, think about that. Think about that because let's say there wasn't, then the house would be higher, then you have a little bit more hurdles. But that's for those who want to buy and hold. So buying and holding is what we do. It's a little easier to buy and hold, get the cash flow coming every month, stuff like that, versus buying and flipping. Because on that end, you're going to lose. Or if you're trying to refi with them suppressing and putting artificial values on the property, then you're going to make it there. You can say, I don't know much about real estate. You can read No Money Down. You can read stuff by Russ Whitney, Kiyosaki. Doesn't really matter. The point is to start your education journey. It doesn't matter where you start. But the point is you got to start in order to become great, period. That's very important. So when I'm talking about emotional, I'm talking about financial education. You have to be great to start.
No, yeah. But you said it right. I was just thinking about the start. Dang it. What's his name? Dave, whatever. He has a start and finish rich or start young.
Yeah, David Bob. David Bob. Yeah.
So when you said that it triggered whatchamacallit, because that's the financial education and intelligence, but I was thinking, you ain't gotta be, you ain't gotta be like, oh, I'm too old. If you're still above ground, then start.
Yeah. I mean, just stories. If you needed stories talking about systems, talking about struggles and coming up, get the book Chicken Soup for the Entrepreneur's Soul. I mean, even learning about the white dude, despite his own personal stuff that went on with Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what I'm saying? Got fired. The freeway came through, tore his stuff up. He didn't get anything until he was 65 years old when he finally sold his recipe after talking to over 1,000 people, getting shut down. Or Ray Kroc, recognizing an idea, talked to the McDonald's brothers, who had successful small franchise. What they was doing, he was selling shake machines. Now you got McDonald's, one of the most successful franchises based on their systems that were put in play. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily matter your age, but what does matter is your ambition. So we have to raise our ambition level, not just what we're talking about with money, because we do it with money. We can put this stuff out. We can have strategy. We can find out to invest here. We can partner here. We can look for investors there. We can create this content. We can market it. We can do all kinds of different things when we look there. However, you can have all that stuff and still end up a Donald Trump. Still end up garbage. Still end up trash.
Ignorant.
So faith, family, finances. With that being said, why not utilize structure, understanding organization, investment in yourself to become better in the most important relationships that you have? So you're married with your wife, with your husband, with your wives, with your children, with your relatives, your family, whatever it may be. Investing in yourself almost has infinite returns. So utilize the same structure, same seriousness, the same commitment to take yourself to a higher level. Again, we don't talk about being average. Who strives for being average? You want your child to come home? Hey, how was that? What grade did you get? Oh, I'm average. I got a C. Yay, let's celebrate the C. Maybe you can celebrate the C if they were worse than that and they're making some improvement. But is that what we want to shoot for? Oh, just shoot for some C's. Nah, we want them to be better than that. You want them to be amazing, excellent, outstanding. All right, because average is, again, I can talk about it's the top of the bottom or the bottom of the top. That's really it. So again, business-wise, properties, digital business, we cash. Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about the cash flow quadrant, really understanding that the E, the S, the B, and the I. The E being the employee. Nothing wrong with being an employee, but if your goal is to become richer, is to become wealthier, be financially independent, you know, it's a lot more difficult in that quadrant. Good place to start, not necessarily the best place to finish. Statistics already break the stuff down when you want to look at Social Security Administration. I don't even get that type of stuff. But the thing is, if you're going to be a man, you have to be more than twice the man. If you're talking about polygyny in particular, not only do you have to be a leader and be focused and have a plan and go and work on your emotions and stuff as well, you also have to be moving in the right direction. I'm telling you, you don't sit and marry a woman that you've been married to for 24 years that believe in you, that see stuff fail, go through different tragedies, see stuff succeed and all this kind of stuff, because I'm just sitting back telling them, I want you to go work. We just go work and we're going to work it out. And then, no, that's not how you catch and keep something, period. Nor is it how you attract and then catch and keep Coach Nyla, because, oh, yeah, you know, we got some dreams and we're going to do this or that, or I'm just going to go to work. And then, no, that's not what we own. No, we have to constantly grow. We have to constantly get to the next level. So we want to reach and empower that many more people. So if you want to invite us or contact us, come to your college or university or do some workshops and stuff like that, feel free. We open to it. But it'd like to be after mid-January for what we already have going on. But we do teach and we are open to it and we do different consulting. But at the same time, we don't put that above the first two F's. Right. They can put it over our face. So I'm not going to come to show you how to grow the pig business or how to build this nightclub with your alcohol and all. We're not going to talk that type of principles can work there, but that's not what we're going to do because we don't want to jeopardize anything here. We're not going to compromise our principles. Same thing we tell, you know, and teach our children. And nor are we going to let that get in front of family time. So if you're calling me on a Sunday when I'm a fam, we're doing our family meeting, we have stuff going on, don't call me on Sunday. It's like a Friday afternoon when it's Jumu'ah time. Don't call me at that time. You call me at the time, now it's disrespect if you know. If you know, right. Okay, if you don't know, then you get passed. But then you really probably don't know me. So with that being said, that's business and money. Where do you start? Start with Rich Dad Poor Dad or cash flow or Think and Grow Rich. Even if you already advanced, go back to those. All right, that's where it is, period. Those are the foundations that you build upon. Yeah, exactly. The game is online. It's ridiculous. So invest in real estate, doing digital products. Also because we like to travel. We don't like to be geographically restricted somewhere. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? We like Cali. And we talk about Cali. People like, well, California has earthquakes, right? And they do. And you know what? She never experienced when she was there. And we done been there several times. Guess what? I was there. There's a freaking earthquake. I learned about the 3 different types of earthquakes: the wavy earthquakes, the shaking earthquake, and the joke earthquake. I happened to be there during the wave earthquake and the joke earthquake. Now, if my guy Sammy is watching, I'm in his house. beautiful home, you know, it's Cali, you know, West Side, you know what I'm saying? Nobody doing, you know, like that. Oh, I'm out there, you know, Tupac land in there. Listen, I'm about to be ready to go in the bathroom, right? It's the morning, about to go. And next, you know, feel like a bus hit the house. It was just boom, boom.
No.
It felt like the house moved about 16 to 18 inches.
That's cancer.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. Cali, I love you. Love my brothers. I'm just the best brothers I know, period. But no, Cali, you're not on the map no more for me, home.
That's like what Will Smith said.
No.
The first person, he was like, I'm from Philadelphia where the ground stays still and the people move. You know?
Right.
I'm saying, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, travel. There's many other places you can be and not have to worry about where your money comes from when it's digital or when it's passive income. That's very important. So again, we go in a lot more detail, specifically on different strategies. We all offer consulting and stuff like that, but that's not what the whole thing was about today. The point is, when in polygyny, you got to be moving in a certain direction. So if you can't, like the person asked the question about, you know, should you live in the same house? If you don't have enough money, maybe you should get another house, afford another house, get another house, so that you don't have to worry about that type of question and create that kind of strain in that issue. All right. I personally think that it's too much of a strain and issue to have queens living in the same house and you have children, all the stuff in the same house that they have to share a kitchen. Now, if you had a big old huge mansion and stuff like that, and there's different kitchens and all that, that's one thing. But we're not talking about that. We're talking practical, real life stuff.
And you might have to downsize. I mean, if it's financially, if you have two giant houses and it's hard for your husband, you might have to consider downsizing to smaller houses, but separate.
Yeah, but also have a plan to increase your means is the point.
Yeah, while you're doing that.
Make sure you're moving in that direction. So they don't just sit at home and do nothing either. Okay, so before we started Outstanding Personal Relationships and decided to get on this, you know, she was already doing and still does interior design and do art and all kind of other stuff. All right, she still does her coaching and stuff like that, health and wellness, natural hair, has a book on it, all this kind of, they're already doing that type of stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I was sharing my knowledge and also attracting like-mindedness when it comes to ambition. So they have their own ambitions. If something happened to me, God forbid, we got step, you know, we have things set up and structured that they can continue to go on and they can go in and handle it. That was important to me. That's important to my family, my daughters and stuff like that. I don't want them to have to sit without skill and they feel that they're waiting on a man or they're trapped because of a man isn't doing his thing. No, my daughters, they gonna own the table. So when you're talking to me as a negotiator, as they wali, then when you come to me, we talking, I need to know where you at, where your head at. What books have you read? What are you doing on leadership? You know, what do you know about investing? What's up with passive income? You know, what's really going on? I want to know these things because my daughter's not going to be the one carrying you. You know what I'm saying? They got their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? They have their own things. And my sons, listen, I have 6 biological sons. All right. That's a potential for 24 daughter-in-laws. 24 daughter-in-laws if they marry 4. But if we do our things right, legacy-wise, it doesn't matter now. So if they want to study, you want to go ahead and study, become Hafidul Quran, those who memorize the Quran, you want to become an alim and stuff like that. You want to do these different things. Oh, let's fund that from the businesses and stuff that we already put together. So again, that's part of our family goals. And what we're doing, just to give you a sneak peek on that, is on December 22nd is the next day, the next live broadcast for our relationship mastery inner circle members. So we're going to be dealing with really ending this decade strong, but beginning the decade already in advance or on a step up. So we're excited about what we're already planning for our inner circle members in a couple of weeks from now. So again, if you're interested in that and really going deeper dive with us, then outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store is where you can go check out the RMIC course that we have. All right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I lost it. Does it have financial literacy and all this other good stuff? But it also creates that dream space, like because of I remember somebody asking about that. They're like, well, how do you do with wealth building? The book is naturally. Who's that name? I'm sorry. Farha, thank you. It's the Naturalista's Do-It-Yourself DIY Recipe Book. So yes, that's what it's called. And but I was talking about how it creates this dream space, and not only this dream space, it's like when you are financially literate, or you even working towards that, it's like, and how we're doing it, of course, when we talk about the digital, where it's not just by locale or anything like that, it definitely teaches your children to dream bigger. It teaches them where they don't think that it's only this space, so that legacy, it creates a legacy, because we talk about wealth building and all this other stuff, but that legacy is not just an inheritance. We're not just working hard and building businesses just to hand it off to our kids. We're teaching them these things. We're creating this legacy. So you want to know more about legacy building and wealth building and things like that.
And also,
we'll talk more about that too.
That's so true. Legacy building, because with all the children that we have, we better be very mindful of generational wealth. Now, I wanted to speak to as far as taking care of our husband. You have to think about some things. Most people say, well, what if something happens to him? They usually their go-to thought is death. But what about disability? We're very conscious of disability because our husband has, our sister-in-law is in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. So we know you can become physically disabled. And I had a sister that passed away of cancer in 2001 at the age of 13, 2 weeks before her 14th birthday. And one surgery for her brain cancer was $30,000. That's something that can bankrupt the family. And it pretty much did bankrupt the family because she needed more than one. So she needed two. So that's $60,000. And at the third, they couldn't keep going. So let's be really mindful of, as wives, as co-wives, we have to think about not just death, but physical disability with our children, with our husband, with each other. What are we going to do? Is there a financial plan?
Here's the thing: we take care of each other,
Yeah.
Because that's how.
Should.
I mean, that's how things. To me, that's success. When you can do things like that, that's being successful, because you're working together. I remember, we were just talking about this earlier when I was talking about the lady who was talking about her coworker. She is a single mom, 3 kids, or she's the coworker, single mom, 3 kids, white woman. She gets $700 a month for child support, and she's a salary worker with this other woman. And she was talking about, when I'm having some struggle, when I struggle, I have friends that I can just say, hey, I couldn't, pay the rent this month or whatever, and they'll cash app her with no questions asked. They'll cash app her some money. They all do that together. They help. It's no, well, you got to do this for me, and you ain't do that, and you got a husband, or do you got? It was none of that stuff. It's none of that.
They weren't expecting anything in
return, because they know, what, we work together, we help, and we build each other up. That's the thing. Our family is a family. We're a team. Yeah. So I don't think that the mindset is that, okay, well, this is. Okay, yeah, we work and do our thing, and I was going to say, even if we weren't doing a business and everything like that, when you have kids, you definitely ain't sitting at home doing nothing. However, but when you have your own, when you have your own income coming in, and it's not even just your own income coming in, is knowing the process, is knowing what it takes, is knowing financial the things that it takes to run a business. It's things that it takes to pay a bill, knowing things it takes to pay a bill, where the bank accounts and how, all these different things. Is everybody should know that, whether it's the husband or the wife, or even when it comes to children. Like Coach Nyla said, he was like maybe 9 years old was a little too young, but I think that it probably wasn't. Like, not to start her off, because she remembers. She remembers. Yes, she remembers that, and then she might not remember all the stuff because it just wasn't continue. Like, she had to revisit it, maybe every year or every other year. Like my daughter, I'm like, she didn't even read Rich Dad Poor Dad, yet, and now she's about to. She's 14.
She snuck in there.
My kids, my daughter. Anyway, but these kids, our children, they have their own businesses. They're working on their own businesses. They're doing, and these are 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
14.
Kids are getting big, 14-year-old, 17-year-old, 19-year-olds.
Well, there's two
So-
14-year-olds in our family.
So it's that going on because a couple things. For one, we teach by example. That's the thing. It's not.
They don't have lazy parents, you guys.
It's
They
one
just
thing
don't.
that you have to. Okay, well, once again, I have to, or you don't have to do anything. But best practice is that leaders lead by example, and it's one thing to be able to teach something that you know, and that your children or those who you teach and seeing you do. So if you are teaching them how to invest in real estate. And that's the thing when we talk about investing, that passive income, knowing about what that passive income can do. It feels real good to wake up to some money that wasn't there the other day because of something that you did before.
Right.
So that passive income is a great thing to have. But knowing that comes from investments. That's come from, investing your time,
Raising your financial IQ.
Yeah, raising that financial IQ. But of course, we go into that in our next the next training that we're going to do. If you guys not a part of it, definitely be part of the inner circle.
Yeah.
Question?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Going to the inner circle because that's we're going to talk about that and how to have an outstanding rest of the year because how long do we have until 2000?
3 weeks.
Like how many days? Because I saw something in 23 days. I saw them, don't
She's
get lazy,
here.
but don't get lazy because there's so much that can happen in 23 days.
Yeah, because you could start now. Don't wait till the year turns and go, oh, I'm starting 2020. You could do this.
So much can happen in 23 days, and we'll be letting you know the great things that you can do to prepare yourself for the end of this year or the end of this decade into the next decade and propel you forward in that and in your relationships, in your marriage, and also in your business and your financial knowledge.
All right, we're about to wrap up. There's a question that's just to ask. As a potential subsequent wife, is it a good idea to find out more about his current wife or wives? Is she jealous, crazy, yada, yada, yada? Should you also speak to the wife?
Like who's going to tell you?
Right.
Tell you that, though.
Well, and then
She's crazy.
that's you know what?
That's a tough.
That is a tough question because
Like who's going to offer that information to you?
and then can you trust that information that you get? You know,
Well, that's why she asked. Should
she talk? Well, before you get married, like
Is
here's
it
the thing. This is what
before
I'm a big.
Yeah.
I'll be someone before she get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is I'm of the mindset of this, and I've been of the mindset of this. Mind your marriage, and yes, you will want to, and I was told that you ain't got to be friends. You ain't got to, best practice. You should like each other. But here's the thing: it's when it comes to getting married, it's the husband. It's he knows. The drama. He knows if he's going to bring you into any drama. He knows that if you gonna cause any drama. So that's kind of the main thing in my mind. And the thing is the minding of your marriage. Yes, it would be nice to be able to have a relationship, a cordial relationship with your co-wife. But the crazy, should you know about her? Like, is she crazy or anything like that? Like, crazy like what? Like, is she going to burn your house down or something? I don't know.
Ask yourself a different question. Ask yourself not, is she crazy? Ask yourself, is she nice? Is she a humanitarian? Is she, ask yourself more positive questions. Because with us, for example, I already knew Coach Nyla was nice and, liked people and all that. There was never a question in my mind. And
I didn't know till later.
What?
I didn't know till.
Don't make no sudden moves. I'm like,
What
what is it, a bug?
I didn't know till later that she had actually, in her mind, was thinking maybe I should marry her.
Yeah.
Until later, I didn't know that. She wasn't going to tell me that, but she had actually
why should
thought
I tell
that.
you that? I'm
just
not
letting
going to
you know
give
that.
you no ideas.
But
that's true. I did think that. But for you, she's always kind with people. until somebody's unkind with her. So I already knew going in that her go-to move is not to be mean. So like some people have that go-to thing where they just want to be mean.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's so different because you got people that's in different countries. You got, so how do you, that's that part. But like I said, I will always still go to this is that you are not marrying the co-wife.
Right.
You're not marrying the co-wife. You are marrying the husband. And if this is the person that, that fulfills the qualities and the things that you desire in a marriage, then that's pretty much, that's the thing.
I would
there.
leave it alone.
That's that part.
For now.
That's what, and if it happens to grow into something that happens to person, but that's not you're not marrying her. You're marrying him.
That's the whole point I was going to make. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you meet a co-wife or not, that's really up to you. But you're marrying a man. You're marrying a husband. So whatever you feel that you think you can get, that'll be stress that he has to deal with.
But it also doesn't mean you can't come to a point where you guys can reach growth and get to know each other outside of the individual marriages.
Right,
too.
indeed.
So
indeed. That marriage might
don't
not
just
work
say,
out. You know what I'm saying? If a marriage doesn't work out between people, that's the marriage
got
of
a
them.
whole video on
You know what I'm
the
saying?
whole
Like,
training.
I'm the one actually practicing polygyny.
Yeah.
She ain't practicing polygyny.
I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? She's not practicing polygyny.
Right. At the end of the day, we're not.
So I'm the one practicing polygyny. So marriage in and of itself is a polygamous marriage because I'm married to both of them. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
that's actually on.
They monogamously married to me.
That's actually on a questionnaire that a sister that I know personally, she's from overseas, and she said they asked her on like her green card application, do you practice polygyny? Like, what does that have to do with the tea in China? So I said, you don't. She said, I didn't know what to put. I said, you don't. Your husband does. So no, you don't.
True.
So don't offer that.
Now, we don't give legal advice.
We don't. But
So I'm just saying
We're not attorneys, so we do not.
Right. That's the
Nor do we play them
disclaimer,
on
y'all.
TV.
But common sense tells me she doesn't. So she put no. Because she was like, I don't know.
I didn't think of it that way, but that's
like a trick question.
No, that's actually true.
And she didn't know how to answer that. And I'm like, your husband does. No joke, all jokes aside, but your husband practices polygyny. You don't. That's not a lie. That's just facts. And she said, well, next time I go there and put no. But it can be kind of tricky because we're in a polygynous family, but we don't practice polygyny as a wife. And the children don't practice marriage right now. So maybe one day we'll make a dog for that.
Yeah, that's not easy. So if y'all have some good sons and good fams, then
and we will do our work.
So with that being said, we're gonna wrap up and pretty much close at this point. Definitely appreciate all of you. Now, I noticed that out of the people here, I didn't ask you guys to hit the like button on the video if you are streaming and watching from YouTube.
And
hit like. All right, hit like. Make sure you definitely subscribe. Share the information. We like to get as much.
Sharing, scaring. We ain't said it in a minute.
We want to get as much out to as many people as possible. Again, we do appreciate you all. And one last time, our cyber special ends tomorrow night. So if you want to go deeper with us, if you want to be with us live on December 22nd in our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, make sure you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store. You can use OPR50, or you just go ahead and get the Relationship Mastery Inner Course Inner Circle. Yeah, Inner Circle course.
That was funny.
Yeah, you get that, and then you also get from going from monogamy to polygyny at no cost as a bonus. You also get as a bonus co-wives from conflict to cooperation. You get a bonus coaching session with us as well as our book. So that's before tomorrow night. Otherwise, that's way too much to be giving away during this week right now. But if you're there, definitely appreciate you. And again, Ajamu Butler and Sister Shakira, congratulations for winning the giveaway and getting access. So definitely check your email and everything this afternoon. Again, we appreciate all of you. Remember, wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. And I'm going to ask you to be outstanding. Commit to that, because average is nothing. Top of the bottom of the top. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace. Boom, another one of her. Oh, they are such good questions. I'm so proud.